Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Soul Sisters podcast. We are so happy to be here with you today. And today we're going to dive into the month of January and some of the opinions that we have been formulating along with our practices. But before we do that, I'm going to turn it over to Liz, and we are all going to breathe together because Lord knows we need it.
Yes, we do. Welcome. Just take a deep breath. Take a few while we've got you here. Maybe as you take a few, you try to hold in longer. Maybe you exhale audibly if that feels right to you. And I just wanted to acknowledge that we are in a heavy place. It's a heavy time for America, I think. And I just want to hold a space for that for a moment. We're all human, and I think each of us are experiencing this in one way or another, whether we want to or not. So this is a safe space to land and to practice, as it always is. And especially as we move forward, it is safe for you, and we will try to do everything we can to make it safe outside of this space too. So yeah. Thanks for being here. And I'm glad we still stuck to it in January to talk about January, but it really did feel kind of questionable on, how do you even talk about other things with the way the world is? But we're glad you're here. Hello.
Yeah. Amen. I think my biggest thing that I would like to speak on based off of current events is that this is no longer, in my opinion, a point of view of right or left. It's right or wrong. And what's happening is just wrong. It's just wrong. And there's, it doesn't matter how you affiliate yourself. It's just wrong. So for those who are like us, who are hurting very badly for the things that are going on right now, we're with you and we're sorry. We wish there was more we could do. Truly.
We love you and you are welcome here. And what do you think about New Year's resolutions?
Crap. What do I think about New Year's resolutions? I think when we were younger, New Year's resolutions were like a really fun thing for us, right? I remember, we made lists for everything when we were growing up. We would make summer bucket lists and winter to-do lists and volleyball season get it done lists and New Year's resolution lists and everything else. And I love that for us. I think that they were super fun in a way to entertain ourselves as children and teenagers, but as an adult, highly uninterested. Don't resonate with New Year's resolutions at all. I know that on the calendar year, I can say to myself, like, oh, for Soul Sisters, I'd like to see us do this at some point this year. Or I'd like to do something for myself this year or something like that. But in terms of like having to achieve something or finding worth in something based off of the fact that New Year's Eve just happened, not really my thing. How about you?
Yeah. I think my language about it has changed, but the sentiment has also changed. Hear me out though. I still like making lists. I just don't have the same expectations around them. It's now more of an intention instead of a to-do list or a goal. I really like to set goals. Nope. I like to set things for myself to think about, right? Like, I don't want them to be goals. I just want to put them there on paper so I can be aware of them, but with less of like that expectation that it's like I have to achieve this, or if I don't do it, then I've failed. So yeah, I think I loved that for us too as kids. And I think we had a lot more fun because we did set aside things we wanted to do. But it has, of course, inevitably changed.
I think you make a good point in the sense of the way that you view it changes. It's no longer a goal, it's an intention. It's a manifestation, right? It's something to look forward to work towards. It's something that you would like to see happen at some point, but you're not setting yourself up for failure, disappointment, or any other type of prompting by saying it has to be done this year, or it has to be done by February, or it has to be done by summer. It's just what you intend to happen for yourself, for others, for your life, etc.
Yeah. And even like feelings you want to feel, perhaps, like they don't even have to be tangible. And then something that someone kind of like walked me through the other day was to think about me talking to myself of 2027, right? Like not even 2026, like we're looking into the future. And some of the prompting questions were like, how are they sitting? Like, what's their posture? Are they making you feel welcomed and comfortable? Like, what is that version of you like in that moment? Like, what would they tell you? And I really liked that idea of like, how can I just keep like working myself out, right? Like wringing myself out, getting closer to myself. Yeah, that feels better.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that that's a difficult thing for people to do, right? I mean, it's difficult for us to do, and this is what we sit and talk about and talk to others about and the practices that we do, but it's very difficult for the general population to do because we live in a world where everything is based on goals. You go and look at my job right now. My job is performance management, which means I literally help my entire organization set goals so that they can achieve their performance responsibilities, standards, objectives, etc. And it then reflects in their performance reviews, and then it reflects in possibly, their merit increases, their promotions. It affects their money, and it's not just my organization, it's the way that our world is set up, right? It's the way that we function. And so it's very easy to slip into feeling less than because you are not setting a goal, you are not achieving a goal, you did not complete everything that you wanted to complete this year, right? It's something that is ingrained in us even from when we were very young. I remember being in grade school and I had a reading goal, right? For the summer, you had to read X amount of books and you got this many box tops. And if you didn't read X amount of books, then you didn't get the prize. And it's just part of our societal makeup.
Mm-hmm. Well said. I was snapping for you as you were talking. So January was named from Janus, the Roman god of all beginnings, of transition. This Roman god apparently had two faces, one looking to the past and one to the future. I kind of vibe more with the like Babylonian kind of vibe 4,000 years ago, where the new year, or I guess like this idea of resolutions, intentions, like was from hoping that the plants we are planting in this springtime will create harvests for us. We're giving gifts, we're setting expectations, or at least hopes for something to grow that we can enjoy, right? So I kind of am starting to align with that a bit more as I kind of sink into myself. New Year's resolutions in the dead of winter in January aren't cutting it for me super hard.
They're not making the cut, no. And I would agree in the sense of, when you look at a lot of energy practitioners, when you look at witchcraft, we are not functioning under this Roman calendar that we've been placed on, under this stipulation that man has made, that then marked time for Christianity, then it marked time for our taxes, it marked time for our fiscal years, so on and so forth. We are functioning by nature. And so even if you don't believe in energy work, even if you don't believe in witchcraft, that's okay. But nature is science, right? It's happening around us. I don't have to prove it to you. It's happening. The world right now, this season in Pennsylvania, is sleeping. The trees are dormant. There's snow on the ground. Everything is quiet. There's a reason when you go outside during a snowstorm, other than the fact that everybody's afraid of snow. and ice, but there's a reason that there's like this silence that's much different than the silence that you hear in the dead of night in summer. Because there's not silence in summer, right? In summer, there's insects and nightlife, night wildlife. There's foxes and coyotes and everything else. Everything's moving. But in winter, everything is asleep. Everything just falls silent. And for me, I follow that kind of cycle where it's like, do I feel like shit right now because I'm not doing anything and society is making me feel like I'm supposed to do something because it's quote unquote the beginning of the calendar year and we have to move? Or do I just not accept the fact that my body needs to rest and my natural cycle is telling me that it's actually okay not to do anything right now? But internally, mentally, it's really hard to make that switch because of how we are living.
Yeah, it's like, yay, Christmas. I'm going to eat all the home foods, cooking, and all of like the sitting and watching TV with your family. I'm going to indulge in whatever I need to when I'm with my family. I'm going to spend all my money on gifts for my family and whoever. Then a few days later, I'm going to be in the darkness and expected to set new riveting goals for myself. The most popular New Year's resolution is getting into shape. And it's like, okay, so at my peak feeling like shit because I've just overeaten gluten and all the other things, it's like now I'm going to feel really bad about the fact that this seems pretty far away for me to achieve. Like, I don't particularly want to wake up tomorrow morning and go to the gym in the dark at 5 a.m. So yeah.
Why, you may ask? Because hating women is evergreen to this world. That's why. And while men can lose weight as well, and we're not excluding those that feel targeted in that way, what I am saying is if you watch weight loss ads, I worked in weight loss for a decade, right? If you look at the main clientele, at their marketing, who they're coming after, they are coming after women because it is a multi-billion, not million, multi-billion dollar industry, right? And that's a whole other podcast that we can get into. But my point being is that we live in a world of capitalism. We go from Christmas, you have to buy the gift, you have to do the thing, you have to hurry up and get the deal on the Black Friday, and then Christmas gifts that morning, and then New Year's comes and you better have your resolution, so you better go out and buy your brand new treadmill, or you better go out and join your gym or your Pilates studio or whatever it is, whatever the thing is that you have to purchase in order to make your resolution come true. Your trainer, your all organic groceries, your meal plan registry, whatever it is. So I just, I'm revolting against it. No. Yes. My answer is no.
And my answer is yes to that. And did you know that 8 to 20% of people actually achieve their resolutions? So out of all the people who are attempting, maybe 8% in a year completes it. So
have you ever set a resolution and actually achieved it? Like as a goal for the year?
That's why I set like maybe not measurable intentions. Mm-hmm. That's why I set like, I just want to feel closer to myself, or like I want to, I don't know, like eat more nourishing. Like I want to just feel nourished, right? Like it's not like I need to prep my food and like only eat organic. It's like I just want to like nourish myself. And if I can think back to, 1st of January 2025, I don't think I've made like too many changes maybe in that area, but like I still feel like I'm nourishing myself, and like I just don't have these like kind of expectations around those kind of goals in the same way. And I think I'm so much happier for it. So I say, screw the goals.
Huzzah! I do think back our January podcast from this time last year, because pin drop, we are coming up on year 2 of Soul Sisters, which is super exciting. But if you go back to January of last year, we had all these goals for the podcast, and then life happened. And I think that we thrive off of a society where it's like I caught us kind of in the midst of us saying like, oh, we had these goals to have guests on the podcast. We had these goals to do this. We wanted to host a retreat this year. Like we wanted to do all these things. And then multiple deaths happened and my mental health declined and you struggled a little bit. And it's like, you can't prepare for that and then come back and say, oh, I didn't meet my goals this year, because the goals change based off of what's happening around you, right? Would that have been nice? Sure. Does it mean we're never going to do it? No. But my goal went from, oh, I want to have guests on the podcast to, I just want to wake up in the morning and be able to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so to be so hard on yourself to say like who you were in January should be completed, checked off the list in December is a wild concept if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So here we are, kind of moaning about it and just kind of, you know, contemplating it. So, you know, if you feel the same, thanks for being here. If you feel differently, like we want to hear that too. Any like engagement around it. New year, new you. Okay, let us know what that means to you. I used to say that. Like I would, in high school, my friends would kind of poke fun at me, be like, oh my God, it's New Year, new Alyssa again. And so, you know, maybe there is something to that we don't need to completely change who we are to appreciate ourselves.
A lot of people, you make a good point. A lot of people probably find purpose and function in setting New Year's resolutions. And if you are that kind of person, then this podcast is not for you, this particular one. Tune in for the next one. Next one. But it's fine. It's more so about what makes you feel okay as a person, right? You don't have to feel good, you don't have to feel bad, but you do have to feel, period, right? And you have to be willing to move forward no matter what obstacles come your way. And there are going to be obstacles, as we found out this year and every other year of our lives this past year. And you have to be able to not have to measure yourself against these crazy goals and objectives that you set for yourself in January, because 2026 is going to be your year and you're going to do this and you're going to make this much money. And it's like, sure, we can have that plan until the universe slaps us on the ass and says, sit down, because it's not that time.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of power in that manifestation. Like keep writing those goals and things, but just like that, you know, devastation or shame or guilt if you don't complete it is kind of the stuff that I just sit with a lot. And you were like, you have to be okay to move forward. And it's like, it's gonna move forward no matter what. So we just have to be okay, because it's gonna be moving forward, whether or not we stay the same. And we may stay the same, whether or not we're okay with it or not. Like that's kind of out of our control because it's moving forward. So you have to be okay to move forward. I'm agreeing with that sentiment in the sense of like, we're moving forward. We want you to be okay.
Yeah. Well, or if I could even reword it again, the world is not going to stop moving around you.
Yeah.
So you have to do what you have to do in order to function in that. Doesn't mean you have to keep up. Doesn't mean you have to measure yourself against anybody else's standards or your own. But what it does mean is that life does not stop just because you decided to. So whatever you have to do to get up and breathe that day doesn't have to be a crazy goal. Doesn't mean you have to make crazy amounts of money or that you have to lose 100 pounds. It just means that you have to put one foot in front of the other and possibly make your bed today if you feel like it.
Yeah. And I can relate to this in a sense of like, I remember what I did in New Year's of, you know, as we entered into 2025. I was skiing in Steamboat. There was a lot of snow. I had a good time. I saw a mountain lion on January 1st. I was like, this is so cool. Like, wow, going to be a crazy year. And then, you know, this year it was a Wednesday. There's no snow in Colorado, really. So that's kind of like an internal like depression for me as it is. And then like I didn't go to do the thing that I usually do because there was no snow about it. So sometimes even if we want to do something that we set out to do, like Em was saying, like it doesn't go that way. The start of the ball dropping began in 1907. I watched the ball drop on TV this past year just to like see what's going on in the world. I'm always outside or skiing or like tired from skiing and in bed early, usually on the New Year's. So watching the ball drop was wild for me. Planet Fitness had like these tubes that they were waving around and these like absurd hats, and everyone was filming on their phones and like squeezed in there like little sardines. And I was just like, ooh, I don't really like anything about this. Like, I'm glad I'm watching for a cultural experience, but why is this the tradition of
no
yeah.
Do you know that people wear diapers and stand there all day?
The diaper people, we're kind of poking fun at them.
The diaper people. If you're a diaper person, more power to you, because the introverted me is screaming. Like, I don't even want to be at a concert where there's that, like, someone within shoulder distance of me. No. And you are going to piss in your pants all day so that you can watch a mechanical ball drop. That's wild.
The new year in my PP diaper.
My pee pants. That is dedication, my friend, and that is something that I will never have. So good for you. I will not be doing that, but good for you.
What'd you do for New Year this year?
Oh, I did the most ERP I could ever do. In case anybody doesn't know what ERP is, it means exposure response prevention. And I got on a cruise ship, which I didn't know how I was going to feel about. And I fought every urge of my OCD. I was actually quite proud of myself. I did not wipe down the airplane seats. I did still wear my mask because it was cold and flu season, and you cannot convince me otherwise. But like, I did not like wipe everything down. I actually was so tired on the way home, I slept on the airport floor, which I could not believe I did. But New Year's Eve, we went up to the cruise deck. We celebrated. About 5 minutes after the ball dropped, we saw fireworks across Curacao. Then I realized that my room key was missing, so I had to go deactivate it and get a new one. Then I went to bed. Then I woke up the next morning with the flu. Happy New Year. What I will say to that is that genuinely, although I am typically with people I love, sometimes it's just my husband, sometimes it's my friends, sometimes it's my whole family on a cruise ship. It depends on the year and what I'm feeling. But I just have never loved New Year's Eve the way other people do. I've tried. I somehow always end up, I don't want to say disappointed, but I'm just kind of like, all this for what at the end of the night, I remember one New Year's Eve, we got all dressed up. We went around. We were looking for something to do. We ended up at my brother's apartment and slept on the couch. So, it's a lot of hype for something that I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, I like the idea of like having a reason to celebrate. Really, like I don't
for sure
really care what it is. And so I like that aspect of it. But yeah, the expectation around it. I was with some friends who they're just the besties, and they adopted this really cute kitty cat. And I had like a little weird crisis, and I fostered 3 tiny puppies, like really tiny puppies. And
they were so small.
They were so small, and I just was like, I felt so bad for them, and I didn't want them to like be in a cage for days because things close down a little bit longer, and puppies just poop a lot. And I was like, man, these puppies are just going to sit in their literal own shit for like 2 days. And so I think my heart broke, and I brought them home, and then I had them for like 3 nights. And I forgot how much, like, you have to wake up like every hour if you don't want to clean up so much poop from your house. And so I just like, gave myself so much work. And, I was just kind of like, annoyed at myself. Like, what are you kind of what are you doing? Like, what are you grasping for here? I could have just had like a comfortable evening with my friends and their cute cat that, they would have brought over because their cat's that awesome. And instead I like brought on all of this extra work. And so it kind of brought me to like I think I need to take a lesson away from this. Like I need to really try to get something out of this. Like if this is how I'm going into the new year and it was in my control, like it's out of your control that you got sick. That sucks. It was totally in my control to get a good night's sleep and not watch a bunch of stinky poopy dogs and do so much extra laundry. So I don't know. Maybe what I learned, I took myself off the email list for the foster animals for right now because I just need a break and my heart just kind of like I think is hurting and it's like trying to help in ways that like are maybe hurting me. So
yeah,
an interesting year.
I want to go back to something you said where you said it's the expectation of the holiday. And that resonated with me a lot because when I think about Thanksgiving, when I think about Christmas, I very much look forward to those holidays because of the time I get to spend with my family. My cousins are home. Like that's why I like those holidays. It's not really the expectation of gift giving and all of that. It's just not my jam. It's just the time I get to spend is super important to me. But other holidays such as New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, like I really, it's never been my favorite. I really have a strong distaste towards Valentine's Day, but the way you said that, where it's not the reason to celebrate because the world is dark. We need a reason to celebrate, right? It's not necessarily the reason to celebrate, it's the expectation around it. Like, I don't like the parameters set, the stereotypical parameters set for Valentine's Day. It makes me very uncomfortable. But in the last few years, I have looked forward to Valentine's Day because my friend throws a Galentine's Day and I get to spend that time with my girlfriends, which is what I want to do anyways, right? And so I think that perception is very interesting because if we reset that for New Year's Eve, maybe I would have a different outlook. Maybe I'd have a little bit more fun. But my expectation is always just this like drunk fest and hurrah and people everywhere and me going to sleep at 12:01. So I just thought that was a very interesting way that you worded that.
Yeah, it's like, what things are we going to have to deal with anyways, because they're literally on our calendar. I have off work for this day, even if I don't want it, kind of thing. So I really liked the reframe of like, how can I celebrate? Or like, how do I want to celebrate? And so like skiing over New Year's made me really look forward to it and love a Valentine's Day. At my job, we kind of theme the month around self-love because a lot of people don't have family nearby or family at all. And so I just love that it's like, okay, self-care month, self-love, like we're gonna do meditations on that. We're gonna reflect on yourself. And so I think it can be daunting and scary to take the control into our own hands and be like, how do I want to celebrate this holiday? Or like, what holiday do I want to create up in its place? Right? Like, I don't love Thanksgiving. I don't love what it's built upon. And I do like, that I have off a few extra days of work. So I'm not going to just sit and feel so guilty, even though land back. Yes. Like we should feel guilty. But I still have to exist. Like I still have to try to like enjoy this day because it's very much pushed on us to do so. So, United States of America, 4th of July, like what do we do on it this time? We get to reset and reframe and take control of our lives and how we want to spend our days.
Yeah, that's another one that I always struggle to celebrate. And this last 4th of July was very difficult for me because it was like right at the tail end of recovering from, my mental health breakdown and all of that. In the way that I celebrated is me and my girlfriends went to a cabin on a lake and we just didn't talk about the United States at all. We did not celebrate the United States. We did not say happy birthday, America. It didn't happen. We just enjoy each other. We didn't have, television. It was very like solitude, sit in the sun, enjoy the night sky kind of thing. And so that reframe is such a good point, and I'm glad that you said it, because I think that reframe can also apply to the way that people look at the new year and the way that they set up goals for themselves. So, do you want to set resolutions? Cool. If that's your thing, have at it. Do you want to set intentions? Can you reframe it? Can you change your perspective on what that looks like? Also, do you want to set them in January, when the calendar year turns, or do you want to wait until April or May when spring starts to come and follow that natural cycle, right? That the rest of nature is following. It's your choice. You have free will at this point. So utilize it while you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's kind of like we have this time to hibernate, right? Like we can think about what we might want more of, or less of, or something we want for the spring for ourselves. One thing I like to do is what am I already doing that I'm so excited about? I'm going to try to go to Italy with my mom this year. Not even try. I am going to Italy with my mom this year. So my a New Year's goal, if we're going to use these words, is like just try to have fun with my mom in Italy. It's like, okay, this is so vague. I'm already doing this thing. This has been an intention of mine for a very long time. So it's like, how can I just improve the thing I'm already excited about doing? Like, can I just have a little more intentionality around it? And so I just really I have been so much happier once I kind of started doing things in ways that feels better for me, and like looking at things objectively too. I know we're on like the New Year's resolution kind of train topic, but it's like saying these things out loud, they don't really feel that natural.
No. Right.
If I think about 4th of July, we're like lighting off fireworks. That's bad for the environment. A lot of people have a ton of like trauma around those loud sounds. Animals have heart attacks. It's like, why? What? And so it's similar to like New Year's. Like we have all these fireworks again. We're just shooting trash into the sky. And why do I have to engage? Sure, if I'm around fireworks, I'll look at them, of course, but I'm not going to like go purchase them, make an aim to be somewhere where they are or anything like that. And if that's for you, that's also okay. I love me some Disney fireworks, but we pick and choose how we want to celebrate.
Yeah, I also love me some Disney fireworks. I also love me some Disney cleanup though. Disney is very efficient in the way that they take care of the environment. It was crazy. I know that this is a tangent about fireworks, but it was crazy when I was on my cruise, we went to the ABC Islands, and you would go around these islands and it would just be a sea of red. And at first I thought it was bullets. I was like, oh my God, like why are there so many caps in the streets? But it was firework debris. And when I say lining the streets, I mean could not go anywhere without stepping on one. At one point, I think we were in Bonaire, and the street was just smoking and you couldn't see the pavement at all. It was just like driving over red capsules. It was crazy. So it really is interesting the way that people decide that they are going to celebrate different things. I encourage everyone to utilize what you have and be grateful for what you do have at this time, because there's so many people that number one don't have much but are really having a lot taken away from them right now. And so if you want to utilize your January or the rest of your January, I suppose we'll be going into February by the time you hear this. But if you want to utilize this time to set goals, set intentions, set resolutions, maybe it starts with a little bit of grace for yourself and a little bit of can't think of the word right now, but just gratefulness for what already exists and what you're already doing, to Alyssa's point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the count your blessings kind of thing. We don't love those kind of like generalizations, but it is true. And like even when we are missing things or seeing things, experiencing other people going through stuff, it's like, okay, I still have my community and the blessings that are here for me. And yeah, and to that point too, it's like, if you have the ability to like just sit with your feelings, and it's like, okay, if this feels good for me, maybe I could do more of that, or maybe I could enhance this even, or that to me is a New Year's intention. And if I sit with something and it's like, I don't like this, or like I'm not on board with this, like how can you stay away from it or skirt it, or just give less attention to it, if you have that ability to do so. This doesn't mean for like, well, it does. So it's like, if we sit with what's going on in the United States right now, it's like, what doesn't feel right for me? If we want to try to challenge someone on this kind of topic, it's like, if this feels good for you, I would like to hear why. And just would like to try to maybe talk about like, why do so many other people feel like this is a wrong thing to do? Like you said, it's like kind of like right versus wrong at this point. So yeah, I don't really know how to even approach people that feel so differently from me these days, because there's a lot of anger and fear there that is not talked about maybe, or like not expressed in a way where us as the people who kind of feel like we care about all people, all of our neighbors. Emily and I are from Pittsburgh. We grew up on Fred Rogers, so it's like, I've seen all the memes like, what radicalized you? Well, like being kind to my neighbors. Is that a radical concept? Like, it makes me shake in my body when I like kind of question that, because in my heart it just feels so, it's firm to me. It's like, oh yeah, you should be kind to your neighbor. And so it's really hard to like butt up against people who maybe feel so deeply in their heart that like hate is great. I don't really actually quite know. So yeah, that's my little like bridge the gap tangent here.
How do you, so when you apply that, when you apply that, I'm interested to know, just to bring it around a little bit here. What are you doing already that makes you feel good in relation to what's going on in the world right now, in relation to what's going on in your personal life? What's already happening for you as a result of your actions or your choices that you are feeling good about?
Great question. Maybe we kind of like start to wrap up with this, because it feels like a great, like, everyone think about this, take a pause, maybe write down some stuff that you have already done this month. We can sit and listen to Emily and I talk and be like, I didn't do that. It's like, okay, well, think about some things that you maybe have done. And, for me, some of the things that I know to be true, it's like, I only have my local community in terms of like, these are the people I can touch and look at and talk to, right? So I'm trying to invest more time in my community, and I'm trying to learn how to invest more time in like my slightly larger community, like the state I live in terms of like advocacy and that kind of stuff. But it really comes down to like, come over my house and watch movies and I will make you warm food. Like, that is pretty much what at least one day a week has been. Come hang out with me, mostly at my house. I will travel very small distances for cuddling also. But really just like staying close to home has felt genuinely nice. What about
And that's
you?
amazing for you, because you used to be someone who wanted to be anywhere but one place. So
Yeah, I think it would be really hard to feel displaced right now, right? That's all I'll say about that.
yes, agreed. I think things that I'm doing right now that I feel really good about, being excited for my brother and my soon-to-be sister-in-law, who is also one of my best friends. They got engaged on our cruise, and I am just over the moon happy for them. I've never seen my brother so happy, and Natalie is just one of the funniest, kindest, most wonderful people that I know. So that feels really good to be able to celebrate them and to be able to say, you know, to Natalie, who is a bride, whatever you want, right? It's your day. It's whatever you want to do. I'll be there for you. I'm so excited. Like your day, your game plan, I'm ready. You know, whatever you need, I'm here to support you. And that gives me a little bit of a sense of purpose that feels really good because as we know, I love to do for others. That's just my jam. So I'm already doing that. I'm looking forward to that. I think the other thing that I'm already doing that really makes me feel good is that I will always be an advocate and I will always advocate for people who are treated lesser in our country. Um, so, you know, there's multiple different communities that I could name. Um, but I know that no matter where my friends come from, no matter what their sexual preference is, whether they're close with their families, they're not, they're black, white, green, purple, doesn't matter. Everyone feels welcome in my home. And that is something that has never changed. And it's not a yearly goal, it's just something that exists. And I think that's something to celebrate because not everyone can say that. But at my house, even if people have differing views, outside of that, um, everyone is friends and feels at home here, and I love that.
Hmm, that feels nice. And I like that you mentioned the like kind of like long-term glitters. It's like Natalie, you know, is kind of going to be planning a wedding a bit, and so this is spread out over time, right? And so things like that are good to have too. Like I'm hoping to go with my mom in May and June, and so these are kind of further away. Like it's good to have a couple things just like down the pipeline if you can, and if you have the privilege to do so. And they don't have to be big things like a wedding or a trip. It can be like, oh my God, I can't wait for that movie to come out. I am so excited to go see that movie. Like they don't have to be big things. It can be like, I had friends over to watch Lord of the Rings and I made potato soup because potatoes are a funny thing in Lord of the Rings. I did little tiny hot dogs that were Frodo's fingers. Spoiler alert, gets it bitten off. And so just like silly things, like just go a little extra if you can. Like, and I don't have to say this to Emily because Emily is kind of the queen of like a theme or an extra fun thing. But it's like if you even have something that like kind of makes you curious, if you've once Googled like how to throw a Lord of the Rings theme party, which I did and took like 2 ideas from it and was like, haha, yes. Like just do those things if you can, because you know, free will is here and let's celebrate our cats' birthdays and our gay marriages and all those beautiful things like on all the sides of those spectrums.
Oh yeah, you know, Edna and Tigger have birthdays coming up in May and July, and I will be celebrating those like a motherfucker. So amen to that. Are we feeling refreshed and good? Are we ready to go into a short meditation?
Yeah, thanks for being here and listening. And if you want to hop off, or if you want to come back to this point later and spend a moment, but Emily's going to guide us on a little treat. See you next time.
Little treat. So if you are staying for our meditation, I will just give you a moment where you can pause here to get comfortable. Find a spot where you're feeling safe, secure, happy, sad, just a space where you can be whatever you want to be. Wherever you're just feeling centered, just allow your body to settle. We're just going to breathe together to start. So inhaling through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. One more time, inhale. Fill your lungs up as far as they'll go. And exhale. Just take a minute, let your shoulders soften, unclench your jaw. If you want, maybe you could place a hand on your chest or your stomach. Just feel the rise and fall of your natural breath. Just let your breathing return to its natural rhythm and just notice what's happening all on its own, nothing forced, nothing to think about. For our time together today, I really don't want you to focus on improving yourself. You don't have to heal, you don't have to become or change anything. I just want you to simply be. Maybe notice the places where your body is making contact: the chair, the floor, the grass, the snow, the couch. And just let yourself be. Be held, be supported. Right now, you don't have to hold everything together. You don't have to do anything other than exist. Your mind begins to wonder or think about what's next, what still needs doing, fixing. Just gently acknowledge, yeah, yeah, I hear you. Let it pass, let it drift by. Bring your attention to the feeling of being in this moment, the quiet hum of your breath, just the subtle sensations in your body. This is it. This is enough. I know we're so used to measuring ourselves by effort and progress and outcomes, but for these next few minutes, we are just going to sit and put all of that down. You're not behind, you're not late, you're not forgetting or lacking. You're just here, and that's enough. Inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, I just want you to repeat these affirmations to yourself. I am allowed to be exactly as I am. I am not a project. I am not unfinished. I am already enough. And remind yourself of those affirmations as you move forward. Even if life feels uncertain or messy or unresolved or scary, you're allowed to just pause. Being present right now just means allowing yourself to exist without pressure. There's a lot of pressure around us, especially with everything going on in the world. And sometimes we have to find a way to just sit and exist. Just rest in this space. Nothing is required of you. You don't have to respond. You don't have to think. Your worth isn't conditional. This moment doesn't have to lead to anything or anywhere else. Let's take another slow inhale and exhale. Let it all go. When you're ready, begin to bring your awareness back. Wiggle those fingers or toes. Just feel the surfaces in the room around you. And remember, you're allowed to be here just as you are. Thanks for joining us today. Namaste.
Yay. Hi.